In a cricket crazy country, when a football club's fan base receives the Best Fan of the Year award a record 3 times in the last 7 years, you know they're doing something absolutely special. And whenever we talk about football clubs, football fans, their fan groups, their ultras, they go hand in hand. I don't think so. तुम कभी भी किसी football club और उनके fan bases को कभी भी अलग बोलोगे. And today we're going to talk about the biggest football fan base or fan club in India, the Manjappada, and why every time when we think of Indian football club fans, ISL club fans going crazy, I think the Manjappada is the first name that comes to our mind. How many times have we seen Indian YouTubers, Indian content creators, foreign content creators? I think Fiago also came to the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. Manjappada won the Best Fans Award in the world, जो Fiago ने अपना poll किया था. So you imagine the gravity, the scale of what the Manjappada is. But I think this is a question that a lot of people have, that what exactly Manjappada is, what does this mean? And what makes them so special? What makes them the biggest football fan club in India? And मैं यहाँ पे कोई competition best का नहीं कर रहा. In just quantum, the Manjappada is the biggest fan base, the football club fan base in the country, with a following of around 800 something thousand followers, where some ISL clubs don't have these followers. The Manjappada, the fan club of the Kerala Blasters football club, is just garnering attention by the day. So if we have to talk about the term Manjappada, which again is very interesting. Some people pronounce it as Manjappada, but in Malayalam, the Manjappada translates to the Yellow Army. So it's basically a Malayali word which translates to the Yellow Army. And it wasn't the first name by which this particular fan base was called. Right? So if we have to go back to the history of Manjappada, the Manjappada was started in 2014, May of 2014, the initial season of the Indian Super League, where Kerala Blasters were one of the founding clubs of the Indian Super League, and 3 friends decided to create a fan club of the Kerala Blasters on Facebook. So what started with just 3 friends wanting to create a fan club in 2014, which started with just 3 members, is now a family that spans up to all the 14 districts of Kerala, spans up to multiple other states of the country, and around in the world, it has expanded into more than 60 countries globally. So Manjappada is not just restricted to Kerala, or is not just restricted to India. They have fans across the country. When I say across the world, it's more than 60 countries where you can find the Manjappada. So when I mentioned about Manjappada was a name that was sort of given to the fan base in August 2015. तो जहाँ पे जो फैन क्लब था वो 2014 में बना था. द नेम Manjappada was given in August 2015. इससे पहले before this, the fan base was called the Kerala Blasters Football Club Fan Group. So again, very simply, in the early days when Facebook was still bigger than Instagram, and that is how the fan clubs were named, this was how the Manjappada started, right? And until 2016, till the end of the 2015 season, Manjappada was just a WhatsApp group which expanded to 50 people, right? So it wasn't something that started really big, or even after the first 2 years, it wasn't something it was 1 lakh followers or thousands and thousands of members. It was just 50 people. But what made Manjappada into the phenomenon, into the biggest fan base of India, and how did that happen, is also what we are going to be talking about today. So I think in Kerala, right? Kerala people had always wanted, a club team who were, doing phenomenally well at the national stage, right? Yes, unfortunately, Kerala Blasters hasn't won the silverware in the Indian Super League, but I think just having that team with, the type of passion that Keralites have towards football, the beginning of Kerala Blasters was just the push that they needed to just create a football frenzy, just create a sort of local support, local inclination, or local attachment to a football club, if I can say that. And that is where Kerala Blasters played a big role. So what happened after 2016? What happened is the founders or the admins of the group expanded this to across all the districts of Kerala. What happened was, अनलाइक अ लॉट ऑफ फैन ग्रुप्स जहाँ पे ना कई बार बहुत रिजर्वेशंस, कई बार बहुत रिस्ट्रिक्शंस हो जाती हैं एंट्री में, हर लोगों को अलाउ नहीं करते हैं. व्हाट द मन्यापड़ा डिड वाज, it was a free entry, no membership, no money had to be paid. People could just tap a link, enter a WhatsApp group, and then become a part of the Manyapada in their respective districts, in their respective villages as well, right? And what the Manyapada did brilliantly is it spread across the various, the 14 districts of Maharashtra very aggressively. And something that has worked out really well for them is just choosing group leaders across the districts. Jahan pe, there would be one group leader in Kozhikode, there would be one in Kochi, there would be one in Trivandrum. So, you had people who were responsible for each city, getting people to watch matches, getting people to come to the stadium, getting people to donate towards tifos, donate towards other requirements. And at the same time, I think one thing that probably some Indian football fans or some people in general do not realize, the important role that the fan groups play in influencing the culture and the decisions made by the club. It was, when David James was the manager of Kerala Blasters and the results were absolutely poor, it was the Manyapada who had started protesting. They wanted David James out, they were getting results, and they thought that David James was not doing the job that he was supposed to be. Yes, results were one thing, but they did not feel he represented what the football club was. And that is where they protested, and that is where they also got the result in their favor after some time. And that is also something that is happening currently. I think there are talks about the Manyapada protesting against the current run of poor results. Kerala Blasters find themselves in the bottom third of the table, and the results have been absolutely poor, right? Again, defensively, they've been absolutely poor. I will make a video on Kerala Blasters very soon, but today we're going to be talking about just the Manyapada, right? So, what a football fan club does, and something that Manyapada did brilliantly, is just garner a lot of support for the club. And every single match week, every single home match, every single away match for the Kerala Blasters, you will still find thousands and thousands of people going and supporting the club. I think it was the 2015 season which still holds the record, where the average home attendance of the Kerala Blasters was 52,000, a record that still stands in the Indian Super League. And there were matches where easily there were more than 60,000 people in any home match of the Kerala Blasters. So imagine in India, a stadium where 52,000 people are shouting, jumping, passionately screaming your name. As a football player, I would want to give my everything for them. And again, when Manyapada is also nicknamed the 12th man, and a lot of fans are called the 12th man. And when the 12th man is behind you, results are bound to come. You are going to have that passion. And what happens again? We know, Manyapada exists. They come and watch every single match. Trucks and truckloads of people go there. But how does this benefit a football club as well? Number one, which could be very simple, ticketing revenue. When you have 50,000 people coming into watching every single match on an average, there is going to be a great amount of money coming in from ticketing revenue. Number one. Number two, when there are a lot of people coming in, sponsorships become extremely easy. As a sponsor, as someone who runs a brand, if I know I'm going to get every single match week minimum to minimum visibility लाखों में, चाहे वो Instagram page or Facebook or actual physical visitors मिला के, I will very happily give my money away. And again, this gets the club in a very good state financially. Number three, in terms of just the players, the motivation that they get seeing the stadium full every single time, they feel that there is a sense of responsibility towards the club and its fan base. And I think that is what every player would want to do. Any player would want to play in front of 50,000 people every single match week. And more importantly, parents, young kids, who are going from a very young age to watch these football matches. I think a sense of grassroots development, a sense of people looking at these big players as idols and wanting to become footballers, and that is what we want. We want grassroots development, right? So it clearly benefits the club, and just the scale, just the degree of Manjappada, I think has brought a lot of laurels, a lot of awards that we've already talked about to the Kerala Blasters Football Club. Now, we've talked about the football side of things, but what Manjappada is just bigger than football, right? It's not just restricted to footballing activities. When there were floods in Kerala, the Manjappada came out, were volunteers, gave out money, gave out donation as a fan base. Manjappada constantly holds blood donation drives, plantation drives, and when it was COVID, donation to the PM Cares Fund, donation to other such relief funds. And, Kerala has recently had a lot of calamities over the last couple of years. So the Manjappada, whose base spans to 800,000, so that's sort of social media pe. Imagine offline families, parents, kitne log honge who were involved in these things. So it is just more than football. It is just every single Keralite living and breathing football, and at the same time helping the community, helping bring people together. And that is the power of football, and that is what I would want every single Indian football club and every single player to experience, the type of support that Manjappada gives to its players, to its fans, to its families, every single one associated to the Manjappada. And it is not just me, or it is not just just football fans just saying these things. You'll find FIFA documentaries on the Manjappada. They won the Indian Sports Awards Fan Base of the Year in 2017, in 2019, and again in 2024. And that only goes on to show the kind of support, the kind of work, the kind of engagement that the Manjappada has. And as a footballing fan watching from the outside, imagine if every single ISL club had that sort of support. If every single I League club even gets 10 to 15,000 people going in such passionately, giving the club's revenue, giving young people motivation to, I as a young 10-year-old child would want to be someday in that stadium with 50,000 people shouting for me. And I think that for me, that would be the goal. That would be the tide of grassroots development that we would want, because that is what motivates young footballers to actually play football. So, we just fail to sometimes realize the importance that these fan clubs play, the role that these fan clubs play in just हम जो culture की बात करते हैं. This is the culture that we should want, and this is the culture that I hope every single ISL, every single I League, League 2, League 3 clubs, चाहे वो quantum इतना ना हो, मैं नहीं कह रहा 50,000 हर उसमें, अगर वो 5,000 loyal fans भी आएंगे, I think Indian football is going to go a long way. And I think the goal that we have of playing in the World Cup, I think जो grassroots से शुरू होगा, this is going to get the grassroots running. And again, with Kerala being one of the hubs of football, I've also made two videos on two other hubs of football in India. I've recently made a video on the culture of football in the Northeast, and one about the culture of football in Goa, and why these two are hotspots of football in the country. So if you like this video, do watch those two other videos as well. And we're going to very soon be making a video on football in Kerala, an analytical video on Kerala Blasters. So if you want to be the first one to watching that, subscribe to Football Unplugged, like and share the video as much as you can. And thank you for tuning in. Your support always means a lot.